Picture this: the Greek countryside, peaceful valleys, a sleepy town below, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, massive stone towers shooting up from the earth like something dropped in from another planet. On top of those towers, monasteries, entire communities of monks perched hundreds of feet in the air, as if they'd grown wings and flown up there. No, this isn't CGI from a Marvel movie. This is Meteora, one of the most surreal UNESCO World Heritage sites in Europe. Today, we're climbing into the clouds, metaphorically, don't panic, and uncovering the secrets of these sky monasteries. From hermits dangling in caves, to rope baskets that doubled as elevators, to James Bond chasing villains up the cliffs, Meteora's story is every bit as epic as the view itself. So, grab your hiking boots, maybe a Greek pastry or two, and let's head to the heavens. When nature builds skyscrapers. First things first, how did this bizarre landscape even happen? Meteora looks like some divine architect decided to have fun with building blocks. The truth is, it's a masterpiece carved over 60 million years. Back then, this whole area was a river delta. Over time, water carried sand and rock, piling it up like a giant natural dump. Eventually, the river shifted, the earth moved, and erosion got to work. What was left were colossal pillars of sandstone and conglomerate, some as tall as 400 meters. Imagine a skyscraper, but instead of glass and steel, it's all rough, weathered stone. And instead of office workers inside, monks with no Wi-Fi. The Hermits of the Sky. Now let's fast forward to the 9th century. The first people crazy enough to call Meteora home weren't monks in big stone buildings, but hermits. These were men who wanted to escape the chaos of the world and live in silence. So, where better than a cave halfway up a sheer cliff? Using ropes, ladders, and sheer nerve, they climbed up and carved out little shelters. Life was, let's just say, minimalist. No neighbors, no noise, no takeaways. Just the sound of the wind, prayers echoing in the rock, and the occasional reminder that if you step too far left, gravity would handle the rest. The Age of Monasteries. By the 14th century, things escalated. Greece was under pressure: political instability, the rise of the Ottoman Empire, raids by bandits. For monks seeking both safety and solitude, Meteora's rocks were the perfect fortress. So, they started building. No cranes, no machinery, just manpower and determination. Supplies were hauled up by rope nets. Monks climbed ladders that swayed in the wind. It took decades to complete even the smallest monastery. And the access system? Genius, but terrifying. You sat in a massive basket attached to a rope pulley, and the monks at the top hauled you up. Visitors would ask, "How often do you replace the rope?" The monks would smile and reply, "When the Lord lets it break." Comforting. The 6 living monasteries. Originally, there were 24 monasteries here. Today, only 6 are active, but each one has its own personality, history, and reason to climb all those steps. The Great Meteoran Monastery, the Big Boss. Founded in the 14th century by Saint Athanasios, this is the largest and oldest of the bunch. Walking in feels like stepping into a time capsule. Frescoes that glow with color, ancient manuscripts, even relics of saints. Fun fact, during its peak, it housed over 300 monks. Imagine the world's quietest dormitory. Varlam Monastery. If patience were a monastery, this would be it. 2 brothers, Theophanes and Nectarius, spent 20 years hauling building material up the cliffs, only for the actual construction to take just 20 days. Inside, you'll find a small museum, vibrant frescoes, and a sense that the builders had the patience of actual saints. Rusanu Monastery. This one feels like it's floating in mist. Today, it's run by nuns who maintain some of the most beautiful gardens in Meteora. Walking here, you hear bird song, smell flowers, and feel like you've wandered into a fairy tale, minus the dragons. Holy Trinity Monastery. Perched on one of the steepest rocks, this one is a showstopper. It's so dramatic that it became a filming location for James Bond's For Your Eyes Only. The scene where Bond dangles off a cliff? Yep, that was shot here. Even 007 couldn't resist Meteora. St. Nicholas Anapopsis, the smallest, but don't underestimate it. The frescoes inside were painted by Theophanes the Cretan, a big name in Byzantine art. Think of it as a pocket-sized monastery with an artistic punch. St. Stephen Monastery, the most accessible because there's a bridge connecting it to the main road. Perfect for those who want the views without the cardio. It was bombed during World War II, but rebuilt and today run by nuns. Inside, there's warmth, hospitality, and some of the most stunning icons you'll see. Meteora today, travel experience. Visiting Meteora today feels like stepping into another world. The nearby town of Kalambaka is your base, with little tavernas serving Greek food and locals who are proud of their sky-high neighbors. From there, you can hike trails that wind through valleys and forests, popping out to reveal these giant stone towers with monasteries balanced on top. It's surreal, like walking into a fantasy novel. Each monastery has its own opening hours, small entrance fee, and strict dress code. Men, trousers, not shorts. Women, skirts that cover the knees. And no, leggings don't count. But don't worry, if you forget, they'll hand you a wraparound skirt at the door. Fashion emergency solved. The best times to visit? Spring and autumn. Mild weather, fewer crowds. Summer can be roasting and winter can bring snow, which admittedly makes the monasteries look even more like something out of a fantasy movie. Reflections and legends. What makes Meteora magical isn't just the views, it's the feeling. The silence up there is almost otherworldly. You hear the wind, the distant bells, maybe a bird. It's peaceful in a way that modern life rarely is. There are legends too. Stories of ropes snapping mid-climb, miraculous escapes, and visions seen in the clouds. Whether you're religious or not, Meteora makes you pause and reflect. It's one of those rare places where history, spirituality, and raw nature come together in perfect harmony. So there you have it, Meteora, the monasteries in the sky. A place where geology, faith, and human determination created something that still defies belief today. Would you have had the courage to climb those rope ladders, or would you have politely waited until the 1920s when they finally built proper stairs? Let us know in the comments. And if you loved this journey, hit like, subscribe, and join us next week as we uncover another story that takes you beyond the guidebook.